Hello, Geeks and Gamers. Matt Lemke here with Through Gamer Goggles, and I'm at this place called Origins Game Fair. 25 times now, and I still trip. And I'm here with Erik Mona, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Emerald Spire, which is, I guess you would say, it's debuting here. It's not really available for sale.
There's a copy here.
There is a copy here, and are they running
It's shipping
events?
out right now. No, we're not doing any specific events for Emerald Spire here, but this is like one of the first ones from the printer, and then it's going out to people who bought it and to retail stores right now.
Yeah, this is epic super dungeon levels. I mean, what level does it start? I mean, it starts
at first.
First,
yeah, it goes to about 15th level.
So it's Rise of the Rune Lords-esque. It's not as thick as Rise of the Rune Lords, but
it covers about the same range of play. Maybe a little bit fewer levels. I think Rise of the Rune Lords goes up to 16th
the
or 18th.
really cool part about it is the names. Every adventure is created by a different author, ranging from, gosh, I know they're all epic names. So anywhere from Keith Baker to Mike Stackpole. Lisa Stevens is in here. Wayne.
Ed Greenwood.
There you go. There's a big
Creative
name.
Forgotten Realms. Frank Menser, who did the Red Box for the D&D back in the 80s. Pretty much all of the senior editorial staff at Paizo Publishing. So I wrote a level. Jason Bowman, our lead designer. Wes Schneider, our editor-in-chief. James Sutter, our managing editor. And I'm missing others, but there's 16 different authors. Wolfgang Bauer wrote a level.
I was calling him Wayne.
Chris Pramis from Green Ronin wrote a level. We pretty much opened the Rolodex and called all of our friends and got as many of them as were available and wanted to help out to contribute. And so at the end, it's a 16-level dungeon. I should mention Rich Baker as well. He helped kind of orchestrate the whole thing and wrote some of the earlier the town outside the dungeon and things like that. And so it goes from first to about 14th, 15th level, and each of us wrote one dungeon level. And they're all the same size. They all fit on one of our flip mats, for example.
Okay.
But each of us we were given, okay, your dungeon level is for this character level. A couple of people we said, okay, try to have this villain or this monster somewhere in your dungeon. But beyond that, we didn't really give any kind of super guidelines. So we kind of let everyone play to their strengths. And as a result, each of the levels is quite different. It all fits cohesively because we then kind of read through them all and in the development process added some connectivity between the different levels and smoothed around some of the, maybe if there were contradictions or what have you. But you can really get a sense of each designer's design philosophy by looking at their level and how they differ from some of the other levels. It's really interesting. So it's basically 16 different sort of snapshots of ways to do a single dungeon level.
And what would you say some of the highlights are? Or do you not want to spoil it?
There's a lot of cool stuff in there. Let's see. Frank Menser's level stands out. is really unique and interesting, and somewhat old school in that it's just sort of off the wall. I kind of don't want to talk that much about it because it's so surprising, but basically it's a troglodyte level, and it has a strange machine in the center of it. And the strange thing is you get there and the troglodytes they don't appear to be evil. They don't attack you or anything like that unless you mess with their machine. And of course, proceeding to the next level means more than likely you're not messing with the machine. So that's pretty cool. Wes Schneider wrote a level that's got a lot of Hell Knights in it, which are one of his interests. My level is called The Throne of Aslant, and it's all about the ancient Aslanti wizard who built the Emerald Spire in the first place. And it gave me an opportunity to kind of shed some light on, the ancient prehistorical kingdom in Galarian of Aslant. So a lot of folks, I've run that 12 times at various conventions and things, and so people always get a kick out of learning sort of secrets of the campaign setting in my level. James Jacobs, our creative director, wrote the final level, and there are major mysteries about the campaign setting revealed there, including some creatures that have been discussed a lot in various Pathfinder materials, and they're finally statted out in the book, and you learn that they are in fact sort of behind the giant crystalline structure called the Emerald Spire that goes through all the different dungeon levels. So there's just lots of neat little secrets, but I think, again, the fun thing is seeing how the levels are sort of, they all work cohesively as a whole, but each one has their own different flavor.
Based off
of, the authors, basically, yeah.
Okay. So let's move into some convention news. You've got Paizo Con in July.
Coming in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, which I was actually surprised you're here. So what's cool that's going to happen at Paizo Con?
Paizo Con has, I mean, it sounds probably too facile to say Paizo Con is all cool. I mean, the neat thing about Paizo Con is it's an intimate little show. You know, I mean, we have about 500-600 attendees.
Oh, it's that small.
Yeah, yep. All of the staff is there. The staff all run games. Pretty much every member of the staff is running at least one game.
You just doubled your attendance.
Well, yikes! Because we're actually straining at the hotel that we're in right now. Next year we're going to move to a bigger hotel. But
excellent.
But yeah,
go.
We'd love to have you. It's the great thing about PaizoCon, I think, is just the approachability of the staff and the special guests, which include a lot of artists and freelancers who work for Paizo. And because it's in Seattle, you never know who might come from other gaming companies around there.
Right, yeah.
And so for me, the joy of PaizoCon is being able just to kind of hang out with the players at a show like Gen Con or even like Origins. I'm often running from place to place. You know, I'll be behind closed doors in meetings and stuff. Right, and but at PaizoCon, you know, other than the banquet which I host and the couple of games that I run, you know, I'll be talking to people, hanging out with people, playing card games with people. I run a miniatures trading game at a miniatures trading event at the very end of PaizoCon, where everybody brings their pre-painted or metal miniatures that they don't maybe want anymore, and we just sit in the bar and just trade each other figures. We have a banquet on Saturday night that reveals new hardcover books, reveals a new adventure path, and shows off. We're going to do some previews both of the Skull and Shackles base set for the Pathfinder adventure card game, which we've also been demoing here. We're going to debut details of the Pathfinder Society Adventure Card Guild, which is a new organized play program for the card game. We are going to also, I believe, be showing off, I think we'll, like last year, have playable versions of Pathfinder Online, the MMO that Novelworks is working on. So people will get a chance to check that out. That just went into alpha playtest like day before yesterday. It's all in-house right now, but we'll be. Oh, there's no one who doesn't work for us is in the alpha playtest.
Oh, okay.
The beta playtest later this year is when the folks who backed it in the Kickstarter will get a chance to play. But we'll have a lot of information about that, and I believe playable demos of that at PaizoCon. So that's great. Lots of seminars, anything from how to design an adventure to how to make a monster to Pathfinder rules Q&A to Secrets of Our World of Golarion to a great one that Lisa Stevens, the CEO of Paizo, does called Auntie Lisa's Story Hour, where she just sits down and regales the audience with stories. I mean, she helped found White Wolf. She founded Wizards of the Coast, or helped found Wizards of the Coast. She founded Paizo. So she's been kind of at the epicenter of a lot of big success stories of the industry. She knows just about everybody in the industry, so she just likes to sit down and kind of just spin tales for people, and that's always really, really fun.
There's a novel in there.
There's probably several novels in there. We always have a panel called Secrets of TSR, because we have a lot of people who worked with us who were there in the early days of TSR all the way through the end of TSR. This year we're excited because our special guest is Frank Menser, who contributed a level to the Emerald Spire and who was also the architect of the old Red Box and was a good friend of Gary Gygax's and worked with him and was at TSR through the whole tumultuous period where there was a struggle for the company and things. And so I'm looking forward to adding him to that panel. And that'll probably be about the earliest we've gone with that Secrets of TSR. You know, we've been covering the 90s and the late 80s pretty well, but Frank can go back almost to the beginning. So that's going to be really exciting. And he's just a great, like a master storyteller. So I'm really looking forward to that. We're doing a play test of the big giant interactive event that we have at Gen Con every year. So in August we'll run, last year it was Siege of the Diamond City for Pathfinder Society. This year it's something else entirely that kind of wraps up the last season of play for the Pathfinder Society organized play program. At Gen Con we'll have probably about 1,300 players playing the same event at one time, helping each other out from table to table. And what we like to do is at Paizo Con kind of take it for a test run with maybe about 300 players, maybe 400 players.
So how in the world do you manage that?
Very carefully. I mean, one of the things we learned last year, for example, it was all about raiding a city and capturing and losing parts of the city to a demon invasion. And so what you were doing at your table might have an implication of whether that section of the town fell or was defended successfully. And we had a projector on the wall with the city, and you could see, the northeast quadrant has fallen to the demons, and people, oh no, oh we've won it back, and people cheer and things. And so because what's happening at your table plays into the overall story of what's happening sort of across the city, communicating information about what happened at the tables was really important. And we realized that was going to be very challenging in the Sagamore Ballroom, the largest organized play space at Gen Con. So they actually, because of what they learned at Paizo Con, developed almost like a semaphore flag system, so that they'd have little captains at various sections of the room, and they'd say, okay, table 132, they were successful or they weren't successful. And then we had guys up at the HQ who were kind of like spotters, almost like a Wall Street, and they're doing symbols and hand signals and things. And so we just kind of develop processes and expand them to the bigger event. And and that's it. I mean, then there's room parties, there's hanging out with people in the bar and in the hallway and chatting. That PaizoCon is just amazing.
Are you going to do a tavern again?
Not sure exactly what you mean by
Didn't last year you guys take out a restaurant?
That was at Gen Con.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well, you started talking about Gen Con, so I thought you moved on.
I moved back to Paizo Con. But yes, at Gen Con, we have a partnership with Scotty's.
Still?
Yep, we'll be doing that as well. This year, I'm really excited. One of the things that's going to be really cool about Gen Con is we're working with a company called Diamond Select Toys on these little toys called Mini-Mates.
Okay,
and they're kind of like, if Lego figures are 1-inch figures, these are 2-inch figures, and they have they're kind of... like collectibles, they're not super realistic. They're more like fun. And so we have a 4-pack coming out in October with our iconic fighter, our iconic rogue, our iconic ranger, and a goblin. And then at Gen Con, we're going to have 4 different promotional goblin figurines that we'll be giving out in different ways. And one of the ways is one of them is painted up to look like the logo character for the Pathfinder Dog Slicer Ale, which they have exclusively at Scotty's during Gen Con. And so they sold T-shirts with that last year. This year they're going to actually have a little action figure of the Pathfinder Goblin, Dog Slicer Ale Goblin. We're also doing one with our partners at Steve Jackson Games for Pathfinder Munchkin. So we have a Pathfinder Munchkin action figure that looks like John Kovalik drew it, in the sort of Munchkin style. We also have a preview figure of just the normal Goblin that's going to be available at the Paizo booth, and then in the Pathfinder Society area in the Sagamore Ballroom, we're going to have the return of our favorite promotional miniature from a couple years ago, which was a repainted goblin. We made his skin super pale and gave him a bunch of sores and called him Concrud, which is sort of the name for the sickness that you always get when you come back from these big shows. And so Concrud the Goblin action figure will be available in the Pathfinder Society room. So we are more than just partnering with Scotty's this year. There's going to be gaming there. There's going to be the Dog Slicer Ale toy, and it's become a real destination for Pathfinder players when they're in town.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, what else? What are you going to debut at Gen Con?
Gen Con, we're debuting a couple of major releases. Emerald Spire, of course, will still be relatively new, but we've got some brand new stuff at Gen Con as well. The first thing that we're debuting there we actually have here, which is the Skull and Shackles base set for the Pathfinder adventure card game. So that and the 5 and 6 player expansion deck that takes you from the 4 players in the box to up to 6 players with 4 new character classes in it. Both of those products will be available at Gen Con. We're also going to have some new accessories from Ultra Pro. So they've produced a table size, basically, playmat that eases play by kind of saying, okay, put your location cards here and your character cards here. Yeah. And they've got card sleeves as well, which we'll have there. So Pathfinder Adventure Card Game Skull and Shackles base set is our big release for the card game at the show. And then the big release for the RPG at the show is the Advanced Class Guide, which is a new 256-page player-focused hardcover book for the Pathfinder role-playing game that introduces 10 new classes to the game. So there's a swashbuckler in there, a war priest, an investigator class, a blood rager, which sort of mixes the blood effects of a sorcerer with the raging effects of a barbarian, the skald, which is sort of a bard barbarian, the brawler, which is sort of a non-mystical monk, and a few other classes as well, including there's going to be spells and magic items and everything a player would want in that book. We expect that to be very popular. And then, it's smaller than a big new hardcover rulebook for the game, but we're also debuting the Iron Gods Adventure Path at Gen Con, and that is the first issue of that. The first volume of that is called The Fires of Creation. It's a brand new first level adventure, and it's the first step into sort of a world of science fantasy. So one of the countries in our world is called Numeria, and in Numeria long ago a spaceship crashed and sent its debris all over this blasted landscape. Ever since, it's been sort of a land of barbarians and somewhat more primitive folk, but then all around there are the remnants of this ancient spaceship. And so there's a campaign, and it's all about that juxtaposition, what happens when barbarians get their hands on this technology. The central conceit of the campaign is the people of Numeria begin to worship the artificial intelligence that still thrives at the heart of this wreck, and what happens when that artificial intelligence becomes semi-divine and is able to sort of grant spells to people and things like that. So we're doing a lot of cool stuff. It's not a straight-up science fiction campaign, but it is a science fantasy campaign, and it's going to give people a chance to scratch an itch they've wanted for a long time. We're also later in the year going to be publishing a book called The Technology Guide that gives full-on rules for lasers and jetpacks and pressure suits and all the kind of sci-fi things people have been asking us to produce for quite some time. So that's kind of the main stuff. The mini-mates. Oh, we'll also have we'll have 8 exclusive mini-mates at Gen Con as kind of a preview for the set that's later going to come in October. And those will be 2-packs that we've done in very limited editions, just to kind of get people excited about mini-mates.
Excellent.
There's a ton more, too. But
you guys have so much stuff that comes out. It's ridiculous. But I think we are out of time that you allotted. Actually, we're over the time he wanted to spend. So
I'm happy to spend time.
But that was a lot of information. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, it's Matt Lemke with Your Gamer Goggles with Erik Mona at Origins Game Fair. Thanks,
you.
Erik. Yeah, you can go through now.